Alright, hello again everybody, and today I'm coming to you with an update to the game cart generator. There's a ton of new features, so let's just get right into it and show you what it can do. Okay, so when you download the game cart generator, it'll come in a zip, and when you unzip it, this is what's in it. We have an output folder here, which is empty. We have pattern here. Again, it's all black and white patterns. You'll see them double up. One's like low res, one's high res, and the application will also invert them automatically for you randomly so you have more variety. We have a lot more templates here, which we'll go over in a second. We have the application itself, and then we have a README that goes into more detail. First, why don't we go over what templates are and how they look here. You have two different kinds. This one here is a simple one. So we have just a green area, and the green is for a single image. So for example, it might be box art that you'll just squish in here. If the box, is about that kind of dimension. If that's the case, then maybe you'll want to use the cart without logos, right? Because the box art will already have logos on it. Or if you're using a clear logo as the image here, then you can have the cart with all of the like little, ESRB and all those logos on it. So it'll overlay on top, and the background will just be generated by the application. We'll kind of go over an example of that and what that looks like. The other kind of template, the green and the pink, again, the green is for the background and the pink is for a logo. And when you put them together, it'll impose the logo on top of the background and then put this cartridge on top of both of them so that it looks like a final composited image. And we'll kind of go over some examples of what all that looks like, but we have disks now for a whole bunch of different disk-based systems and stuff like that. And so why don't we go ahead and just go over the actual application. Here is the cart generator app. First, the cartridge template, like we said, we're going to go ahead and choose that Game Boy Advance one. This is the template that I used, and this is the alpha template that I used. The game media is going to be the box art, right? So let me go ahead and get that real quick. For this particular demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and use some clear logos with the Game Boy Advance. Here our pattern directories are already set up. Our output directory is just set to output, which is fine. And then generate background if missing is set to go. And we can change the size of how large we actually want the image to be. First off, if we click a preview, this is what we're actually working with for right now. If we unscale the preview to fit, this is 100% output size. So if you're wanting a smaller file size, like you're like, I don't need something that big, you can do 50%. You can see right now we have just a solid color, and that's what this enabled is here. And that'll randomize it every single time we hit preview. If we hit gradient, we'll start getting a gradient there, right? If we hit pattern, it'll start pulling from that pattern directory. BG burn will actually high contrast those same patterns, so you get a more dramatic style. We can grayscale the logo if we want, so we can have like a black and white logo while we have like a colored background. For me, this logo is a little large, so we're going to go ahead. We have these stretch controls here, so I want to actually squash it inward, so I'm going to squash it this way. All right, so I like that clear logo size a little better. You can see these are the manual image controls that I did. I can do advanced mode, and that'll increase the range of all of these, but we'll leave that to that. If you get into a situation where you're just like, this is way too much, and you can reset all the values here, we're going to go ahead and click generate carts. The carts are being generated right now. We'll go ahead and check that out in our output folder. All of them just being generated like you've seen before. And if we go back, we can see our progress bar there. And we can actually cancel this. So if we cancel, we close the progress bar, it will stop the generation immediately. All right, so why don't we go ahead and change our template? We'll change it to a more complicated one, which has a logo and a background. So for this, we're going to go ahead and use the PlayStation. And I'll show you how this actually looks and the kind of things that you can make with it. So back in our app here, once I set the cartridge and the alpha templates, you'll notice that the game media is now blocked off. What we want to do now is we want to set our clear logos directory. And you'll notice that background directory is blocked off too. That's because we have background generation enabled, and that overrides that particular setting. So how this works is the clear logos is the driving force of this. So the application will take the name of the clear logo in any subdirectories and everything like that, and it'll try to match it up with an image in the background directory. This is why it's really good to use this with clear logo and fan art background, for example, because it will find the same matching background as the clear logo so that it makes sense whenever you actually go to put it together. Let me go ahead and click preview. And there we go. We have Clay Fighter 63 1/3, and we can see it's actually a Clay Fighter background. If we have a clear logo that doesn't have a matching background, then it will generate a background if it's missing. Otherwise, if you uncheck this, it will randomize the background if it can't find one. So for example, if I click randomize backgrounds, you'll see here we have Clay Fighter 63 1/3, and we have a Mario puzzle piece thing here. So when would you want to use randomized backgrounds? Well, let's say you have a directory full of colored patterns. So like a fire wallpaper or water. You just want to use those as potential backgrounds randomly. That's when you would want to use randomized backgrounds. But we're going to go ahead and keep generate background if missing. And what that'll do is we'll end up with a background like this if it can't find a background, for example, which, that looks pretty good. PlayStation discs kind of had this effect. A lot of times they would be grayscale or something like that. So we can grayscale the background here. We can make it all grayscale if we want. Some actual discs looked like this back in the day. A particular method called a logo burn in the application. And what that'll do is it'll take the grayscale logo image, the grayscale background, and it'll take the background generation gradients, and it'll apply them together. So you get an effect like this, where everything is kind of silk screened onto the disk. Then you can just enable all of these here and uncheck the grayscale image logo, and that'll do it to where the background is silk screened and then the logo is not. If you want to grayscale the logo, then you really get a cool look, and I really like how that appears whenever it's all put together. Here we can do a preview here. We're at 50% output right here. If we go to 100%, you'll notice that, hey, this is a very big template. You can go down to 25%. So if you're wanting custom art, but you're limited on space, you don't want the file sizes to be too big, then this is really the best way to do it. If you don't care about that and you just want all of the detail as much as you can possibly get, then output size of 100% is the way to go. The last thing that we need to kind of cover here is the fill color. It's more of an advanced feature, depending on what kind of carts you're actually going to use. So let me go ahead and load up a different cartridge here. We have this Genesis template here, and then we have this Genesis template. It has green there and then a very small sliver of pink. You can't really see it too well, but this particular cartridge here, this template, is transparent there. The logo is separated from the background, and for that to actually come through, we need to have transparency on the top template because this is the top layer here. We can see here, very tiny, there's like a little speck of something. That's our logo. We can do logo stretch to fill, which will have the logo fill out that entire pink area. Whatever's pink, it'll stretch it out to fit that entire area. So now what we end up dealing with is a cart that looks pretty good, because on these Sega Genesis Black carts, the logo was on the top. The fill color is for filling in the background behind this logo. And because it's black on black here, it's a little bit difficult to see. So why don't we go ahead and pull up the red cart. Let me show you in Explorer what that looks like real quick. Here's our black cart here. We have the red cart, and the red cart has two styles. We have no logo on top. So this is just for a logo or a background or something like that, or like a box. And then here we have one that does have the background and the logo on top, right? And we have a cutout there. The cutout is for the logo. We can see that, hey, behind this logo is black. That's where the fill color comes in. And so when you click, oh, that's perfect. Okay. So when you click fill color, you click this button here, and you click anywhere on your screen. The button becomes the color and gives you the hex code so that you can note it for later if needed. And so now we can generate these cards, and it'll end up generating all of our logos up there and everything like that without any sort of issue. So I'm going to go ahead and generate some cards here. Actually, instead of the Genesis cards, why don't we do something a little more complex? We're just going to be using the N64 clear logos and fan art backgrounds like we did before. So we're going to go ahead and generate these. And I'm going to set the fill color to black. There we go. Perfect. Card generation completed. Now when card generation completes, you have the option of showing the folder, so it'll open up the folder for you, or just clicking OK. We're going to click OK, and we'll take a look at the folder. And there we are. All this is a clear logo and a background. A fan art background and a clear logo. So you can really point this to any fan art background and clear logo directory within Launchbox, and it'll just put it together for you. So that is the Game Cart Creator 2.0. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the application. I can't wait to see some of the stuff that you make. And before we go, I do have to thank a couple of people. So the templates that you saw there that are actually being included in this particular thing are created by me. However, the base templates are originally made by some amazing artists out there. Rained Upon on Launchbox, he had an Xbox 360, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and Dreamcast disc template that I took and very heavily modified, but I did use those base templates. ABZ13, he has done some amazing work over the years. I have his Hue card, his Game Boy cartridge, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64, and Super Nintendo templates as bases. Wally Wonka, I have his Sega Genesis cards as templates. Retro Knee, he had a post about Sony PlayStation Portable, and so I used the EMD from that, and Super Famicom templates as well. Marcus McNuggan on DeviantArt, he had a Nintendo Switch cart, so I used that as a template base. Bar 0011 on DeviantArt, he had a Nintendo 3DS template. And Omar Saka, he had a Famicom template base. So thank you very much, everybody, who contributes and makes art and everything like that. So thanks for watching. If you like the application, please go ahead and check it out. It's on Launchbox forums. The link's in the description down below. Leave a comment, leave a review. If you have any questions or you have any issues, please do let me know, and I'll be happy to help or resolve some of the bugs. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.